And now we have this longer part too, and the bit that was on the spine, you can use it to make a pocket. And also we have this longer piece that we cut a bit of it to be used as a pocket as well to the other side. Like so. Then let's see now. I have to trim it a little bit to be a little bit smaller than the front cover. I'm going to cut a little bit from here and here and here and leave this darker side as is. Now it fits nicely. Then round the corners. Maybe a little snippet of there. Just so it's not so pointy. Just a minimal piece. And more from here. Then the inside covers will need some more inking. I added ink everywhere, to all the edges and some to this cloth too, to add some ancient look to it. Now we can ink this inside paper, this end paper, and I'm using black because it will need some real contrast. The reddish brown is not enough, and it probably won't stick because of this PVA glue that we have added on. And if it feels like the ink is smudging your fingers, you can use a little bit of paper cloth or add another layer of PVA glue if you want. I don't feel like it. I'm using, actually now I'm using old wet wipes that are dried. I've used them and saved them because they were not dirty. And I'm just wiping off the excess, and that's enough. It doesn't smudge anymore. Now we will glue this on, and it has to be glued down well because of these knots here. I'm using the same PVA, strong PVA glue as on the front of these papers. And when we have attached this, it has to dry up thoroughly. see now. Check that it's the right way. And add it. It could have been a little bit longer. I took off a little too much, but you can do it better. I might add some black ink there to hide this excess background showing. It's not a catastrophe, but if you want to make it perfect, you will need to snip just a little bit from these sides. I took too much. Adding a bit of that black ink. Let me put this aside. Too much clinking going on. There, much better. Problem solved. And if you add this black, it looks like mold. Very ancient looking. And to this side too. I will finish these outer edges last. This one has to dry now, and we have this back to finish. Let's see now. I want the darker side on the flap. And just a wee bit here and here, but I'm trying to not to take too much. Then I'm folding it using this flap and these hinges here. Like so. And then the next one. And we will cut these corners last. No. Add some glue first to this larger piece here. And then put this to its place. Try to match the edges. Okay, it seems that I need to attach those hinges a little bit. Not attach, but double measure, double check the measures. Always double check. Luckily we can do it at this moment. Because of these folds, it will it will need some more space here. Or how should I explain it? Okay, now it seems that I forgot to cut these little corners. There's still time, no worries. To make it look like the front. Actually, let's add some black now. There's still time. So many little details that not all of them will stay in, in my mind while I'm trying to figure out everything, that it goes in the right time, to the right place. It's a bit of adjusting. Now that I have done it, I can say that it's easiest to, before you make these hinges, just glue it down here and then make the first hinge, and glue this down and then make the last hinge. That's the easiest way, I think. Well, you can try what works for you. Then some more ink, and when you add some ink to these knots, they will be double secured. And now just attach it very thoroughly to the background. Especially this knot part, work it well. And if needed, add some more glue. Maybe a little bit. That looks quite good already. Now we're going to cut these corners here. See, looks quite nice. Now we're going to add the pockets to the inside covers, and then we will leave it to dry. Cut them to fit this inside paper. Maybe a little bit smaller than the inside paper, then it looks the best. I'm just marking this with this knife. And there's some pencil marks, and I want them off. This will go here so that any papers or cards, journaling cards you're going to add, will have room to fit in. Round the corners and make a thumb hole. And ink the edges. Wipe off the excess ink so that it won't smudge your hands or the papers. There. It goes over here. I'm adding glue to these sides. There. And now we're just going to attach it here. It will also cover the knots that are underneath. Attach it well and let it dry. And one pocket here, the same procedure. And some ink and wipe the excess off. Then glue. That looks nice. Let's trim a little bit off here because there's some white showing. Carefully. And from here too. Now we can ink the edges while it's still drying. And I'm using black this time. I think I'm going to cut a little bit from here, just so it's not so pointy. Just a little bit. Black ink all over and to the hinges, or what are these? Folds. That way it looks even more ancient. And I trimmed a little bit more of this cloth here. It was too long for my liking. It shows a little bit, but not too much. And while this dries, I'm going to continue to prepare for the online fair, which is this weekend, 13th to 15th of November. And we will continue making the large ancient covers after that. This is the medium size with hidden spine, and the large one will be a little bit different, not too much, but some alterations will be made. So there will be a little bit, maybe a little pause, because if I get some orders from the fair, I'm going to have to make those first, and before I can continue with this video series. But at least you have now the miniature and this medium-sized journal ready, and you can start practicing. Yes, I thought that this might need these little strips of paper here and here, and I'm going to attach those before I stop this video. And I'm going to use this strip that we cut out earlier, about that size, twice, double check. That's too wide. Let's cut out a little bit, a little bit more. That is about the right size. Just a little bit more. Trim it. Is it even? Even enough. Then check this, it's okay for that side too, so you can use this and cut accordingly. There. Little bit from the corners. And ink. And glue. Let's put this here, just to hide the upper part that wasn't so nice looking. And this one. Oops. This one here. That's optional, but if you want to make it look a bit more finished, you could use this little strip. Quite good. I'm pleased with it. Hope you're too. Now we will leave it dry well, because it's still wet. But if you don't want any more embellishments, this would be ready now. But of course you could add some tabs. There's room up here, and for example some danglies here if you want. There's room for that, and even some shorter tabs here. There's room for that too. And let's try these pockets lastly. This one here, you can add extra writing paper or journaling cards, whatever. And that's a bit too large for that. Let's see now. This is just a piece of card. I need something smaller. I want to try it. Oops. Over there. That's better. That looks nice. I like it. It works very well. Those cards will be very nicely tucked in. Oh yes, I like it. And the closure works well. It now looks almost like Leonardo da Vinci's notebook. At least resembles it, and it's gorgeous. Grungy and beautiful. Okay, we will continue with the larger one after the online fair and the possible orders from that fair. So I will thank you for tuning in and see you soon. Bye bye.